Hello and welcome to Track Sports Show, where we track every Bison here on campus. I'm Marlon Mejia, joined alongside Cleve Pierce, Cassie Swihart, and Daniel Booth. Guys, thank you all for coming and taking some time to be a part of the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Today we're going to be giving a basic rundown of the seasons of the football, volleyball, and men and women's soccer team. So we're going to talk a little bit about the highlights of the team, what they're looking forward to. Every team here on campus is kind of rebuilding in their own sense. So we're going to talk about that. To start with, we're going to talk a little bit with the all-conference selection, Cleve Pierce here. Tell us a little bit about the football season as a whole.
It was a rough season overall. We were 2-8. We took 8 straight L's, and it was kind of very, obviously tough being a senior and having high hopes from day one in camp and saying, you want to ring, you want to do this, you want to do that. But it didn't come out and be that. But the thing is, I believe we had 10-plus players who made all-conference, at least had all conference mentionings in the conference or had some type of, accolades that were given to them at the end of the season. So that's always a up for the program.
Absolutely.
Definitely rolled, into a big shift. And it was definitely much needed, dropping 8 early in the season, but winning our last 2. So much appreciated and a very well experienced season.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I've always been told it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I don't mean to be too cliche about that, but is that not the truth?
It is true.
In conference 2 and 6, it's like what we said. There's always room for improvement. What were you guys' thoughts about the game or the season as a whole? Have you been able to attend a game?
I was actually at the St. Vincent game, and I feel like, it being the last season or the last game of the season, they just won the previous week against Grove City. I feel like there was just like this continued energy at the game, like even from the guys on the sideline that weren't playing. Like it was just like everyone was like upbeat, like regardless of the flags that the refs kept throwing and all the awful calls. But I just felt like it was a very different atmosphere, I guess. So, like, that's fantastic, and I definitely think that they need to continue with that energy for the next season and the off-season, most definitely.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing what the Bison can pull out for the coming years. Moving over to the volleyball team, tell me a little bit about how you think the season went overall.
Well, they were 23-13 overall and 12-6 in the pack. I feel like it's definitely a growing year, a rebuilding year, like you had said. They lost a powerhouse of seniors last year. They had 5 seniors, and they were all just phenomenal, played very well together. They only had 1 senior this year, but they have a very strong junior and sophomore class right now. Even the freshmen, they had Jenna Scott was their starting setter, and she got second team All-Pac this year, which is great for a freshman. So I feel like the team as a whole, they mesh very well together, and I'm extremely excited to see what they do in the offseason and next season.
Absolutely. That's all you can really ask for. Danny, you had a chance to attend one of the games, correct?
Yeah, I did. I was behind the camera, actually.
Perfect view of the game as a total. So who stood out to you on the court?
Well, last year, Maggie Merrin did very well as a rookie, a freshman. She was freshman of the year, and she did really well, like you said. She's really good at getting the ball, digging it out and keeping it alive for the team. But especially this year, Katie Sparks. She's been a great captain for the team. And with the likes of the McKenzie twins leaving and Alexis Castro and the other 2 seniors, I believe that she stood up for the team and they really did a good job for Coach Klein.
Absolutely. And when you look at the last game that the Bison played, Katie Sparks, she had 17 kills. I'm not all too familiar with how volleyball works, but that seems pretty impressive to me.
That's a lot for a 5-game set, so that's phenomenal. Yeah, and it was a close match. The team that they played in ECAC's Brandeis was a solid team, and it's not like they got blown out. It was 5-game set, so they worked hard and just fell a little bit short.
And that's all you can ask for, though. As long as you work hard. Yeah. Moving over to the men's soccer team. Right now, the men's team, they finished with the overall record of 8-9-2. Tell me your thoughts about that, Dan. How do you think the season went as a whole?
Well, overall, it was a good building progress for the team. As many of you know, we do have a lot of internationals on the team, which kind of created a culture divide between some of us because we've not played with each other and we don't know our different styles of play yet. So going into the spring season, hopefully we can learn from each other more. Get those different the different talks and chats. We can speak to each other on the field better, and really make a good second year out of this team.
Absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, all the new players, the men's team, they had 20 freshmen come in, and 11 of them were international. So that is quite the culture shock. But with 34 goals in the 19 games, that's a little bit better than what the past years have been. I'm sure the men's team was missing the presence of Jack Waters, former Bison striker. But Raul Ortega, he's a striker, and he's from Mexico. He seemed to fill the shoes pretty well, I think. Were you able to attend any of the games, either of you?
Well, I definitely were able to attend. I'm pretty sure Cassie was also. Daniel, obviously, being in the game, But the Thomas More game, absolutely amazing, if I would say that. First of all, they were able to tie Thomas More, a team who were undefeated. And guess what? They ended up taking that tie when they could have actually won. And with the ball rolling, starting from last year, with them actually being in the playoffs, and then, slightly not making it this season, hey, that's a half and half. Guess what? That's going to add up to something much bigger that we're looking forward to seeing, especially me being an alum coming up. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I think if there's one thing that Bison sports can kind of be proud of, it's the pride that they have.
Always.
And transitioning from men's soccer, let's talk a little about women's soccer as a whole. The women Bison, they ended up the season 6-13, which is a drastic improvement from past seasons for them. They had a new coach. They had a new star goalkeeper. Maria, she was from Mexico, I believe, correct?
Talented.
And very talented. Very playing in goal and on the field, which was pretty impressive. That's not easy to do, So the switch around is pretty cool. So what do you think? They ended up 4-5 in the PAC. Do you think there's still some room for improvement?
Well, yeah. Riley Myers got the second team All-Pac, and she did really well as a freshman coming in. She had high hopes, and she met them expectations as a freshman. And I can believe that with the recruitment that he is bringing in next season, which should be great to watch for the team to grow, especially with all the seniors leaving, like Anna Riddle, a really important goalkeeper for the team. Well, they did really well this season. The first two games, they won both games. They beat Geneva in overtime, 3-2, which we all got to see as the men's soccer team, and that was really cool to see. The girls really loved it, and you could see the emotion they were showing on the pitch and how much it meant to them, which last year I don't think they really showed much of. I believe that they can make something work next year and reach the playoffs, because as the results show, they beat the winners, Thomas More at home, which was a fantastic game to watch.
Absolutely.
I may add into that just real fast. Women, they rule the world, so hey, it's going to be an everlasting thing. They're going to always be on top, so I'm just waiting for it.
Yes, sir. Well, it seems like the Bison athletes here on campus have lots of room for improvement, but there's still we can still be proud of them, Stay tuned next time when we talk about the basketball games that are happening, the swimming teams that are going on, and we're just going to keep on tracking every athlete here on campus. Thank you.